Formula 3000, the British Open single season. And if Duncan Gray wants to win, his car must be in peak condition, and so must he. Ian Clayton finds out what it means to be a racing ace.
It's because you won't use pedals at all, isn't it?
And the track is buzzing.
I wish I could describe to you the atmosphere that's just hanging in the breeze here.
Life in the fast lane tonight,
And
7:30
old
on
rivalries,
Yorkshire.
Hakkinen and Schumacher resume their battle, while Coulthard and Hill head the British Taj for glory. Action starts with the Australian Grand Prix, coming soon to ITV.
Now in Yorkshire, Ian Clayton samples life in the fast lane.
About 6 months ago, my producer called me into his office and said, I want you to go and see a man about a car. I don't drive, I said. Perfect, he said, and sent me here. I'd come to meet Duncan Gray, a 38-year-old businessman with a passion, some might say an obsession, for life in the fast lane. I never did get to learn to drive, but I got quite hooked on motor racing, and I couldn't wish for a better chauffeur than Duncan Gray. Now, there's no elegant way to get into these things, as you can see, and because I'm on Silverstone racetrack, I need to belt up, and you'll see in a minute why I have to belt up. Right, Duncan, take it away. I'm all right asking this question because I don't even drive a car, me. But if I wanted to be a racing driver, how do I begin? How do you access this sport?
I learnt at the Brown Touch Racing School at the age of 13 with lots of foam behind me, and they were quite surprised. I got 89%, and for a 13-year-old that obviously wasn't driving on the roads, etc., they were very, very pleasantly surprised, and they were very supportive as well.
What is it that makes a good racing driver? Obviously the physical capability, but is there a mental capacity that you need?
There's obviously a certain amount of physical ability. Determination is a major factor, and dedication. It's not easy to jump into one of these machines and perform some of the speeds and lap times that these cars can go at.
Because you had a long time off, didn't you, before you made your comeback?
Yes, I had an 8-year delay, yes, which was put on to me for personal reasons. It's been unfortunate. I was just making the ranks in Formula 3, racing with, believe it or not, Eddie Irvine, Damon Hill, Martin Donnelly, all the people that have gone up to Formula 1, and I've just sat there and watched them on the television progress. Yeah. After 8 years, I've decided to make a comeback. I got in a Formula 3000. I've never sat in a racing car in 8 years, and we got within 2 seconds of a lap record around Donington, which surprised Fred and myself, and we decided that just maybe there's a chance that I can have, I could actually still perform.
Where does it come from, this determination, this tremendous spirit that you've got?
I think it actually comes from my granddad, who's unfortunately no longer with me, and he really helped me to drive, taught me to drive the car when people were against it, got me in a single-seater when everybody was against it, and he's typical old RAF man, and I owe it to him for the sacrifices he made to help me get on in motor racing, that I'm going to see it all the way for him.
Fred Goddard, himself a former champion, looks after a stable of racing cars, including Duncan's. Fred, what part of this car do you own, or does the driver own it?
No, the driver owns this particular car. Some of the other cars we own ourselves, which we hire out for drives, but this one actually belongs to Duncan Gray himself.
So everything about it, the engine and everything?
No, the engine belongs to Nicholson McLaren. We hire it from them at £10 a mile.
£10 a mile?
That's quite a lot of money, yep. But we have other cars at £30 a mile, but this one's £10 a mile.
How much does that work out at per race then? How far is it?
It would work out around about 2,000 pounds a race just for the engine. Basically, to run a car like this, including the engine, that costs about £50 a mile. With wheel bearings, brake pads, tyres, brake discs, all those things just keep adding up. And then there's always the mechanics in it, that you need 2 or 3 mechanics on this at each race. Because it's like a missile, this thing. It's geared in the right place, it'll do 200 mile an hour. And at 200 miles an hour, the chap must have the confidence to drive the thing.
I've got to ask you one more question before we finish, Fred, and that's about Duncan. Give me your expert opinion on him.
Duncan? Yeah. No, Duncan has done a good job since he's been with us. He's actually surprised us, he's gone so well. He won the Boss Formula 3000 Championship last year with us, and he's leading it again this year.
Will he win it this year?
I think so, yes. He doesn't know his bonus he's got to pay us when he does win it, but no, I think he will win it this year.
Back home in South Yorkshire, Duncan has to train hard to stay in peak physical condition. But mental agility is as important as physical fitness, and Duncan has a secret weapon.
4th gear, 5th gear, brow of the hill, change down, turn before we see the corner, and then flat out all the way down the straight.
It helps in playing these games, Duncan, if you know the track, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, Donington obviously Grand Prix circuit was my last race, which we happily won at. And believe it or not, I actually used this game to practice on.
How realistic is it?
Circuit-wise, it's very realistic. Obviously, these are saloons that you're driving in these games, but it's very good for reflexes.
Right, Duncan, this is the first time I've ever asked this question in my life. May I move from the passenger seat to the driver's seat?
You certainly may.
Okay.
Is this your first experience to drive?
It is, yeah.
Right, okay. And we need to turn right here somewhere.
There.
Well,
Oh! You got a finger spinning about all over it. Listen, I think I'm going to pass it back to the professional, Duncan, because I just can't cope with this yet. Here.
thank you.
It's because you won't use it pedals at all, isn't it? This is Mondello Park, Ireland's premier motor racing circuit, and for the next 2 days home to an eclectic mix of men and machines determined to battle for the glory of being first past the checkered flag. Today, the drivers compete against the clock, hoping to win the best start positions for tomorrow's race. For Duncan, it's the first chance he's had to test the car since he last raced it to victory at Donington nearly 6 weeks ago.
I finished a race, the car's packed up, it's taken to the workshops, it's stripped, put back together again. We go to a circuit. I may get the day before testing, and then the next day qualifying and the race. So every time I'm sitting in the car, yes, I do get quicker. Because obviously there is a time factor where I'm out of the car.
But you're almost practising on the job, aren't you? Your practice is them practice laps that you do before the race by the time of it.
It is at the moment, yeah, and you don't get much chance of that, you know, because these cars, some of the circuits we're going around in, you know, under the minute, and you can, you know, appreciate that if you hold a breath for a minute, you appreciate that we've done a complete lap, and we've put a lot of exertion in. We do lose a lot of weight, fortunate for me anyway.
Duncan drives a Formula 3000 Reynard and competes against cars from several different classes in the Boss Championship series.